Eating Soup Alone is a podcast hosted by me, Christopher Crumley, and co-hosted by Nicholas Johnson. We try our best to ramble incoherently about a handful of movies at least once a week.
Your microphone's backwards.
Hey, I don't know if you heard about this in the news or not, but we didn't do a show last week. You shaking your head no?
No.
What's going on over there?
I'm just looking.
Technical difficulties?
A little bit, yeah, but I got it.
Okay,
I got it.
Okay. Or are you rubbing your mustache against the...
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Well, we're back, baby.
With... What did we watch?
We watched Escape from New York and Back to the Future. I watched them a very long time ago now at this point.
I watched them the past couple days, so I think that will work out.
But weird kind of connective tissue thing. I had to go to a conference for work. That's what I was traveling for. And there's a press breakfast one of the days for the conference. And the company that was hosting it, they always do like a theme for their press breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And their theme was focused on the future. And so basically like the company's been around for like 40 years or something like that. So they played this little clip where like the guy who founded it is like 18 and he's like making his first little gadget or whatever, and then he like gets into a time machine or whatever, and then he walks out as the old version of him, but they're both dressed like Marty McFly, so like but anyway,
That's pretty good.
and his name's Martin, so
That's perfect.
Yeah. So you want to talk about Back to the Future first, I guess?
I want to talk about Escape from New York first, actually.
Okay. Why?
Because I have least to say about it.
Sure. Did you not care for it much, or?
I liked it. But also, nothing fucking happens in this movie,
Sure.
really. Like...
You know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
A couple of things. One, it reminds me of The Warriors.
Oh, big time. Big time. Which
Yeah.
I feel the same way about. I think they just kind of fuck around for a bit in the Warriors, and then it's
I love
over.
The Warriors, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did like this movie. It's my first time seeing it. I'd never seen it before. And it's just like one of those movies like, Big Trouble in Little China or whatever, like where, I love John Carpenter's brand of like weird kids, like the weird kids idea of an action movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's just like, all right, it's this guy named Snake. At this point, Manhattan or whatever is like just Arkham City.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a prison. It's just a whole city that's a prison, and the fucking president crash landed there, and so you've got like 24 hours to get him out of the city prison.
Yeah. As soon as this movie started, I was like, oh, this is going to be my favorite movie.
Yeah.
And it's like what we were saying about The Fog last time.
Yeah.
Just fucking vibes. This
Yeah.
whole movie is just vibes. This might be my favorite John Carpenter soundtrack I've ever heard.
Okay.
Like, there's a song that plays when the Duke arrives. I think the song is called The Duke Arrives.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's so good.
He's gonna do
Bong Joon-ho's next film?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I saw that on Twitter, and somebody like quote tweeted it. It was like, Bong Joon-ho better fucking hurry up and make that movie before GTA 6 comes out, or else he's fucked.
Yeah, that's funny. Duke played by Isaac Hayes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Right?
Let me triple check. I mean, I have the Wikipedia up, not the
musician.
IMDb.
Also voiced Chef, South Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he the one that quit?
South Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a Scientologist. When they made fun of Scientology, he was like, I'm out of here.
Well,
Yeah.
can't win them all.
Donald Pleasance.
As the president, which is great.
Yeah.
Also,
Wonderful.
connective tissue. To last episode, we were praising the work of Dean Cundey. Dean Cundey's a cinematographer on this and Back to the Future.
Yeah,
That guy fucking gets around.
he does. Probably one of my favorite cinematographers of all time. He also did Jurassic Park. I don't remember that being a particularly great looking film necessarily. Like one of those things where, like, not to say that it doesn't look great, I'm just saying like compositionally or something like that. I don't know that it's like, as much of a marvel for me personally.
Yeah, I get that.
It's a great film. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, I'd rather hang a still from The Fog on my wall than I would a still from Jurassic
Absolutely,
Park. Is all
yeah.
I'm trying to say.
He's like, I mean, he's got range because Escape from New York is a
and
very
then
like.
also Jack and Jill.
Yeah.
Isn't it Jack and Jill? No, Grown Ups. He did Grown Ups.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because like I think a big part of Escape from New York that I like is the way it looks. Like I think it looks very visually unique, but then I don't think Back to the Future does at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's
But
Back to the Future looks exactly as it needs to.
contextually, especially in the beginning, at Doc's house, I was looking at it and I was like, yeah, I can see a little bit of the Dean Cundy, though.
Yeah.
Not throughout the whole film necessarily, but... and really quick, something else I learned. Joel Schumacher, rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Yeah, he did Jack and Jill.
Joel Schumacher, apparently he went to school for fashion design and stuff like that. Pretty interesting to me also. Also, Schumacher was openly gay and described himself as, quote, extremely promiscuous, according to Wikipedia, saying in a 2019 interview that he had became sexually active at 11, estimating that he had sex with between 10 and 20,000 men over the course of his life. He said the first person he knew that died from the AIDS epidemic in 1983 was, quote, not promiscuous, which led Schumacher to believe that he would die soon after, recalling that he thought at the time, quote, if he has it, I must have it quadrupled. I was sure I had it, and I was planning my death, though he never contracted the disease.
20,000, you said?
Between 10 and 20,000, he estimates that he's had sex with. Would you like the math broken down on that?
Yeah.
This is rough numbers.
I was gonna say, like, do you have enough time in a lifetime to fuck 20,000 people?
Super rough numbers. Super rough numbers. But let's say he lived to be 80.
Okay.
And he said he became sexually active at 11. So let's just say that's 69 years of fucking.
Okay.
So these are just rough numbers. That'd be like an average of 290 men a year. So, that would leave you 75 days of not fucking, or, any year might vary. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't fucking as much from 12 to, maybe like 16, 17 as he was, peak, I have Hollywood money, I just made the Lost Boys. It's the 80s, let's fuck.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. And
he's probably banging more than...
He's probably banging more than
but
one
again,
person
so
at a
these
time,
numbers,
so those numbers add up.
These numbers, though, are quoting the 20,000 number. He said between 10 and 20. So let's just say that, like, he's being a little over-exaggeratory even on the low end, and he really only had sex with, like, 9,000 men. Then that would be less than 145 different men every year for 69 years, It's still not that crazy. I mean, it's crazy because most people, I think the average person has, like, somewhere between, like somewhere in, like, the 5 to 9 range in terms of sexual partners or something.
I don't think I'll meet 20,000 people in my life,
Yeah, I guess not. I think the national average for couples having sex in a week is twice.
Okay.
So for you to have sex with your partner about 1,000 times, just, again, the average, you guys have to be together for about 10 years. It's conservative, though. You guys F a bunch in the beginning. It becomes a little more rare later. Who knows? But anyways, that's enough about sex. Escape from New York. Kurt Russell.
Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
Which, I got to talk about the Metal Gear.
You do. I knew it was coming.
Solid Snake from Metal Gear is based on this guy.
Right.
And that's why I was particularly excited to see this. He's nothing like him.
Okay.
I love that
They do have the same gruff voice kind of thing, though.
Same voice. They look identical. In one of the Metal Gear games, when Snake has to go undercover, his code name is Iroquois Pliskin, which is just this guy's name.
Yeah,
but
there's that guy with the mustache going, Pliskin! Pliskin!
Exactly. And, fucking... Oh, man. Sorry, another tab open, side tangent.
Okay. Open a new browser. Metal Gear, Kojima, Death Stranding. Yeah.
Everyone in that game's name is based on their job for whatever reason. Norman Reedus' name is Sam Bridges because he builds bridges. And Dead Man is a man who is dead. Just stuff like that. And there's a guy named Die Hardman. His last name is Die Hardman.
Yeah.
Because he had a reputation of being in a bunch of battles while he was a soldier that should have killed him, but he got out of all of them, so it's hard for him to die.
Yeah.
And his name is John Die Hardman. You'll take a guess on what his middle name is?
McClane?
Yes. His name is John McClane Die Hardman.
Nice.
So yeah, he looks like Metal Gear.
Okay. But that's
where it stops and starts, yeah. And
any interest in talking about Arkham City?
I can talk about Arkham City, sure.
It's Arkham City.
This is Arkham City, yeah.
This is Arkham City. Moving on.
It's just I don't know. I feel like it's an idea that works for this movie.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I don't understand why anyone would ever do it again.
You don't think that it worked for Arkham City?
I mean, I guess it does, but like
It doesn't.
It
Really.
worked because I'd never seen this movie, I guess.
Why not just let Batman loose in the city? Why does it have to be a big prison city?
I think they do in the next game. I think it's just like to cut down the size of the city because it's a PlayStation 3 game. You know?
Sure. They couldn't come up with any other reason.
Yeah, blow up a bridge so he's stuck on one continent of one side of the river of Arkham. You know?
Like Bane.
Like Bane.
Whoa.
And
Now you're thinking.
now, yeah.
Are you not a big fan of Arkham City?
Oh no, I am. I
That's
like
probably
it.
their best one, right? Of the series.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. I only played that in Arkham Asylum. I didn't play past that, but I know that most people weren't. I think Arkham City was the big peak
Yes,
as far as like popularity and like.
because Arkham Knight came out. Arkham Knight's arguably a better game, but they've got all the Batmobile shit in it, and it's just boring. It like just completely grinds the game to a halt. So you do some tank shooting missions. It sucks.
Sure.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I
it's
just-
always interesting when a game does something like that, where they're like, we don't want movement to just be point A to point B. Let's try to, and it's like, it's a period in a sentence. You need the period. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You need the travel. It doesn't need to be anything more than travel.
yeah, I hate that. Don't get me started. Like, I hate when video games, like the goddamn Spider-Man game. It's a common complaint everybody had about the first one. Is the game comes grinding to a halt so that you can play sneaky missions as Mary Jane for a bit. And nothing against Mary Jane, it's just boring. I would love to be Spider-Man more than I would love to be doing this.
Also, why can't Spider-Man be sneaky?
exactly.
He's a spider.
Right.
Just give him sneaky mission.
I mean, he does have some too, but also you gotta have hers. And then in the next game, they're like, you know what? We're not gonna cave. We're not gonna get rid of the Mary Jane missions. We're gonna make them more fun. And they did. They're way more fun.
Great.
But then they make you do missions where you're Peter Parker just walking around talking to people
Yeah.
for an hour and a half.
And those things are equal. I feel like there's like the argument that it's like, oh, what, you don't want to play as a lady? And it's like, no, I don't want to play as anyone else when I'm playing Spider-Man the
Yes,
video game.
I would like to.
I'd like to play as fucking Spider-Man.
Exactly. I think it's Donkey.
Yeah.
His video on it is like it's the Mary Jane sections happen or whatever, and then it like cuts to the Spider-Man stuff. He goes, "Whoa, you could be Spider-Man in this game? Fuck, someone should make a game where you like a Spider-Man game where you're just Spider-Man. That'd be cool."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Anyway, Escape from New York. They put a bomb in his neck, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
I like the way it just happens. Like the guy just goes "Cook," and then they go, "There's a bomb in your neck now."
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like a modern movie. You would have to like there would be a screen behind him where you like see a diagram of the little bombs going in and planting, and like and in 25 hours this will explode like
Yeah.
this. And I just love that they're like, it's a bomb. It'll blow your head up. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's good.
I think Donald Pleasance is a bad choice for the president.
Yeah, what?
He's too spooky to be a president, I think. I
Yeah.
mean, some presidents are pretty spooky, but he looks very unpresidential.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
Like,
But it was pleasant to see him.
yes, I do love Donnie.
Wink.
I like seeing him.
Love seeing Donnie.
It like, I mean, it calls back to the, well, I guess call forward to. It's one of my favorite things about Back to the Future. It's the Ronald Reagan, the actor, and then later when he has the 1955 doc is looking at the camera Marty brought with him, and he's like, "Whoa, a portable television studio? It makes sense that your president's an actor. He has
Right.
to look good on TV."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. Donald Pleasance probably wouldn't look that good on TV. You would go,
Yeah.
that guy looks like a Blofeld type."
All right, let me see. Plot. Let me just take a quick look. 400% increase in crime. That's funny to me. When they land, that was the one time where I was like, "Come on, man." When they land in Central Park, they land in like just a field somewhere, but like Central Park, there's buildings around it. It wouldn't be that like,
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I love when he lands the little plane
Yeah, I
thing
love
on
it.
top of the was
Yeah,
it the Twin Towers?
Cruising in, yeah,
I like the look of that because the sky is just pitch black.
yeah,
Like it doesn't have any stars or anything in it,
Yeah.
and for some reason it just felt like a video game.
yeah.
Like a type of
absolutely.
like an old Spider-Man game where you're just like, it's like, oh, nothing beyond the city exists.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is a built level.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And so
I know
yeah,
what
it's
you're
just
saying.
great.
No, I do love this film. Spoilers. I probably throw this thing in like the B plus A minus
Mm-hmm.
range.
Also, Tom Atkins, gotta have him in every John Carpenter movie.
Yeah. No mustache this time, or mustache
Must-
this time?
big mustache this time,
on that. Flying the President John Harker to a peace summit in Hartford. Hijacked by a terrorist. He's handcuffed to a briefcase, put into an escape pod, drops into Manhattan. Police are dispatched to rescue the president. Romero, a subordinate of the Duke of New York, a powerful crime boss, warns the president has been captured and will be killed if any further rescue attempts are made.
Is Romero Harry Dean?
I don't think so. I think Harry Dean is Brain, right?
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
they call him Brain.
And then who the heck is Romero?
I have no fucking idea. Is he the crazy looking one that looks like Billy
Yes,
Idol?
he is. Yes.
Okay. Anyways, he's convicted of robbing the Federal Reserve. That's what Snake is.
Oh, right. Very cool. Very cool.
Right. He escapes the deal in exchange for the pardon in 22 hours. 22 hours is not a long time for his carotid artery to be exploded. He takes the stealth glider into the whatever. He goes to that vaudeville theater.
Runs into Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah. Dozens of starving crazy. He's rescued by Cabby.
Ernest Borgnine. Yep.
Yeah. Snake to Brain, advisor to Duke, engineer. He establishes a small gasoline refinery fueling the city's remaining cars. Super cool. It's one of those things. It's almost like Mad Maxian, where it's like, I want to see more of this New York City prison thing, move over Fury Road, give me frickin' Manhattan Bridge, You're
right. They don't spend a lot of time telling you about, and I don't know if I like it or don't like it, but they don't spend a lot of time telling you the politics of the New York prison,
But I'm into it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. Someone give this the Fury Road treatment. I want to take me back to New York City prison.
Would you want it to be like a Tom Hardy situation where they get a new guy to just quietly be Snake while someone else is the main character?
Yeah, but I would only want this to happen if...
Oh my god. That was so loud. Sorry, go on.
Oh, it hurt too. If John Carpenter was super passionate about coming back and doing it the same way that it's the same guy making the Fury Road.
George Miller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was just thinking, I was like, who would play a good Snake?
Yeah.
And I very legitimately was thinking there's that guy who's he's in the Marvel stuff now. He plays the fake bad Captain America. He's called U.S. Agent. He's gonna be in the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And his name is Wyatt Russell. He's Kurt Russell's son. And I went, oh right, that's probably why, because he looks just like him.
What do you feel about the guy from The Hangover?
Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
That would be fine.
Fine.
No, I think it'd be too distracting.
Too distracting?
Yeah.
You'd need someone who wasn't really that famous necessarily.
Yeah, he's Bradley Cooper has a very look at me face,
Yeah.
Where I think Kurt Russell's the type of handsome where he could kind of blend into the background, you know.
I've not been watching It's Always Sunny, but I've been laughing at a lot of It's Always Sunny clips lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a funny fucking show.
Is Bradley Cooper in it?
No.
Then where'd that come from?
For some reason my brain went, what about Dennis?
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Anyways, the Duke lives in Grand Central Terminal, and I love when they make Snake fight the big guy.
Mm-hmm. This movie, freaking. Oh, also John Carpenter's wife's here too. She hangs out with Brain all the time.
Yeah. What's her name? Not Marion Chambers. That's the name of the nurse from Halloween.
Her name is.
I just watched a back-to-back double feature.
Adrienne Barbeau.
Adrienne Barbeau.
When the gang gets together and they get into his taxi and they go drive and they're going through that bad part of town where people are throwing shit at the car or whatever, you know. I got there and I kind of fell asleep the first time I was watching it.
Sure.
And I woke back up and he was untying the president.
Yeah.
I went, fuck, I missed a bunch. I have to watch this again tomorrow. I turned it back on tomorrow. I missed nothing. They just stop in front of a train and the president's inside.
Nice.
And when they get the gang together and they start going, it's an hour into this movie and there's 30 minutes left.
Yeah, and I will say on the topic of you falling asleep, that's one of the things I love about the John Carpenter Dean Cundey collabs is that they're such sleepy movies in such a cozy way.
Yeah.
These are all great late night movies. Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York. Like, they're just great.
Yeah, each one of them, they start, and I'm fucking hooked.
Yeah.
And then as it goes on, I'm not any less hooked, but you're right, it's just cozy, so I'm like,
yeah.
I could take a nap on this couch right now.
Yeah. But yeah. There's all that stuff with, like, Brain trying to dick over Duke, and they try to go to Snake's plane, but then Crazies push it off the building, and then they drive through the bridge that has bombs on it, and Brain knows where the bombs are, and then Isaac Hayes shows up, and they fight by the wall. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff happens.
Yes. I like when the Duke is shooting at Donald Pleasance up against the wall.
Yeah.
It's very silly.
It's good.
I like when he beats up the big guy in the ring, and then, like, one by one takes all of his equipment back from all the other dudes that are wearing his stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was fun to me.
What's on the cassette again?
Bomb stuff. I don't know.
Something about, like, a peace
Bombs.
summit. Yeah.
Peace summit.
Either way,
types.
at the end, when he's supposed to turn it over, he just gives the cabbie's, like, favorite song on cassette, and then he destroys the one that has the real bomb piece stuff as he walks away.
It contains information about nuclear fusion intended to be an international peace offering.
Right. Because there's that scene where the mustache is like, Plinkin, you want to work for me? And he's like, I'm supposed to kill you, but I'm too tired. He walks away.
I also love that guy has an earring.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that was, like, in the costume design where they're like, and this guy should have an earring. I feel like that actor just has an earring, and he's like, I'm not taking it out.
Yeah. That reminds me of, like, listening to Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, just clips from it, like, way back in the day. I think before he was even officially, like, on the WWE Network. But just him talking about, like, getting an earring as, like, in, like, the middle of the 90s or whatever. And he's, like, just talking about, like, going home or something like that. And just talking about that thing where he's, like, you know, he's like, I just kind of forgot. And, like, I'm from, like, Texas. Like, Texas-ass Texas. So, like, I remember, like, coming home and, like, you know, seeing my dad and his boys, like, you know, hunting and everything, be like, God damn, what the fuck is that in your fucking ear, buddy? Like,
And his whole body shape and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So
and he's just like, again, at the same time, it's like he's like a 250-pound, like, jacked fucking dude. But, like, again, just like for Texas in the mid-90s, like, what the fuck's going on with your legs, buddy?
That's
like,
so
funny.
Fucking funny.
Yeah, hilarious.
How do you feel about John Cena's heel turn?
I haven't heard anything really about it. Have you seen him, like, cut a heel promo yet?
No.
I have not either.
I just heard someone say he's a bad guy now, and I went, okay, that's cool.
Well, pause the recording real quick and type in, like, John Cena heel promo, and let's watch and see if we feel like he's doing good as a villain.
Okay, so final verdict?
I would say Talker, he is not necessarily.
not great,
I mean, I know he is, but it's not doing much for me. On the topic of wrestling, though, there's a tag team from the 90s. You may remember them, or you can Google them while I'm talking. The Dudley Boys.
Vaguely familiar.
It's a big, old white dude named Bubba Ray Dudley, and then there's his brother, a black guy, Devon Dudley. And
I've seen these guys, yeah.
Yeah. They're like classic 90s heels. Like, they were very, very good at, like, being the bad guy and getting a lot of heat with the audience, you know, just, like, walking around calling people fat fucks and, like, saying slurs and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure Bubba used to, you know, say all kinds of shit. But again, it's just, like, old school heel work of just, like, doesn't matter, you're playing a character, like, you know, get that heat, you know. And almost like the freaking God, who's that wrestler in the crazy fucking wrestler that cracked his skull in the fucking Dark Side of the Ring, like the episode about the black wrestler who's just like,
New Jack?
Yeah, New Jack, right? Like, same thing with New Jack and, like, Deep South, like in, like, the Tennessee wrestling promotion, like, just being like, you know, like, fuck you fucking honkies, and people literally bringing guns to the show to kill it. But anyways, but Bubba Ray and Devon, like, I remember seeing a clip of Devon talking about, like, how, like, yeah, when we got signed to WWE, I remember walking up to Vince and was like, hey, Vince, like, you know, like, we're old school heels, we do it, like, you know, we're not gonna be signing, like, autographs, like, stuff like that, and you know, and basically Vince was just like, you guys are gonna be signing autographs. Like, he's like, that's exactly what I was saying, Vince, like, we can't wait to start signing autographs, all kinds of, you know, but anyways,
rest in peace, New Jack.
Rest in peace, New Jack. What were we talking about that got us on the John Cena thing?
You talked about Stone Cold having an earring because I talked about that other guy having an earring, and it made me think of John Cena, so I brought him up.
Anyways, Escape from New York, yeah, great. You know, I would say I'm excited to watch for the show. It's been a while, like Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. Never seen him. I'm really behind on my John Carpenter stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a John Carpenter movie I don't like yet, though. So
Yeah. But yeah, so I would give this, I think, like an A-. You know, it's like a sleepy. It's up. It reminds me of the Warriors. It reminds me of the original Terminator. It just has this like 80s dark. You know, the way that like Terminator has that like techno noir thing, but like for Escape from New York, I'd call it more of like a what would you call Mad Max? What would you call it in terms of like that type of dystopian,
like post-apocalypse?
Sure, whatever. So like this one, I would just call it like a techno Mad Max kind of thing, like a techno like dystopian. Like
Yeah, I
it's
can
like,
see that. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's just got like this like 80s, just dark stink on it. 80s dark stink on a, you know.
It's my favorite 80s dark stink, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It happened to the Terminator. I love it. They put that dark stink on noir. They're like, what about like 80s sci-fi dark stink on noir? And I was like, yeah, it's awesome.
Hell
Love
yeah.
it.
I'd give it a B+ probably.
Yeah.
I like it quite a bit. And maybe it's just the context I watched it in, and maybe I have to see it like another time, but I just feel like it starts, it gets going, and then it's immediately over.
Right.
And that would be maybe my only big issue with it, but besides that, I like everything about it. So, yeah, B+. Plus gives, God, that fucking... Oh, I gotta show you the song. Hold on. I'll cut this out of the episode because it's gonna sound like shit, but... Fucking this one. Like, just imagine just 80s John Carpenter just putting this together is so funny.
Yeah.
To me. But it sounds like Bully.
You know what that reminds me of?
What's that? It's almost identical. Yeah. It's a banger. I fucking love it. I know everybody shits on it in like all the documentaries and stuff, but it's so good.
Yeah.
I
So
think
anyways.
It's the biggest lie the boomers and Gen Xers ever told us is that disco sucks.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Did you hear about the Impractical Jokers?
They got back to back.
Yeah.
It's
Too bad. Funny show. Funny guys.
fucking before the bald one got. I laughed very hard. It was a picture of the other three looking at the monitor with the microphone. They go, "Okay, now cheat on your wife with a teenager."
That's so funny. That reminds me, like the Andrew Cuomo thing when he said, like, "I'm not a pervert, I'm Italian." Dude, that's one of my favorite memes. The Jokers. That's like, "Now say you're not a pervert, you're Italian." Oh my
I
god,
saw.
show's too funny. Well, Back to the Future, huh?
Oh boy,
Oh boy,
second time we're talking about it.
that's true. Yeah, there's a forgotten episode where we did Matrix recently, right? Yeah. Now we're finally doing the Back to the Future. So, Nick, go ahead and put a clip here.
File I found. I don't even know where that would be.
Yeah, neither do I. I think it's on my old MacBook that's in a drawer that I haven't charged in a year and a half.
It's like I was talking to someone the other day at work about we got a bunch of merchandise and skateboards that are Adventure Time themed. Just talking to some people about like, I used to love Adventure Time and yada yada.
Used to.
It's still good, but like I used to like be really really into it. I mean, all of us were. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I was telling them about how I, at the time, was working at a Jimmy John's. Store closed for renovations for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they were like, we can relocate you to another store for a couple weeks, or you can just have the 2 weeks off. And I was like, I'll take the 2 weeks off, thank you.
Right.
And I just watched all of Adventure Time. That's all I did. And I was also in college at the time and kind of learning a little bit here and there about like how scripts and like story beats and stuff are set up. And after watching all of Adventure Time, I was like, I could probably write an episode of Adventure Time. And I think I wrote like 2.
Nice.
And thank God I don't know where either of them are. So that's how I feel about that Lost Back to the Future episode.
That's how I feel about any frickin' spec script I ever wrote. I
Yeah.
wrote a couple. I wrote like a Seinfeld one. I think I wrote like a Simpsons one.
I remember those. I really liked the Seinfeld one, and I don't remember the Simpsons one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyways. Well, Back to the Future.
Directed by Robbie Z.
That's true.
Written by Robbie Z and Bob Gale.
Right.
What does Steven Spielberg have to do with this?
I think he's a producer.
He's not.
Him and Robert Zemeckis are just really, really, really good fucking friends, I think, too.
He's not listed to the produced by
I think
Wikipedia, but his name is the first one that pops up.
They're buddies. Zemeckis and Spielberg are his old buddies.
But I would like to know what his title is on this movie, because it's the first name you see when the movie starts.
Robbie Zemeck.
They want to develop a film, blah, 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 blah. After critical and commercial affairs and their recent efforts in collaboration with Zemeckis' mentor, Steven Spielberg. He lent his experience in Hollywood studio clout to support the production of Back to the Future. Okay, so I guess he just strong-armed people into getting it made. He did that with, didn't we talk about that with Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Perhaps.
He went to all the cartoon studios and was like, hey, it'd be cool if we could use Bugs Bunny. I'll make a movie for you, maybe, if you let us do that.
Yeah.
Go, okay, and then he just didn't make a movie for anyone afterwards.
You know how, sometimes there's, something you're out of the loop with, in the sense of, it's not on your radar, you're not necessarily a fan, but, if some drama boils up, you're like, well, let me hear about this drama.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Examples being things obviously, there are certain, little emo pop-punk bands who used to be into, McCafferty. That, just, anytime there's a little, every now and again I'll just pop in, just see what's going on, because, the lead singer of that band is severely a mentally troubled individual. There's been lots of drama surrounding that person. And just sometimes randomly it'll be like, oh yeah, they put out a rap song or something. It's like, okay, well, let me hear what this is.
Yeah.
Another example, not necessarily as controversial, but like I jokingly said to you when I hopped in the car, listen to any Green Day song.
Yeah.
Because again, not trying to be a dick, but I just feel like a 9.5 out of 10 things they've touched in probably the last 20 years have been kind of
not great.
Not great, yeah. But so the reason why I bring this up is because Say Anything is a band that I was really into in high school.
Yeah.
Max Bemis was married to a lady named Sherry Dupree. She also used to be with Jesse Lacey of Brand New, who is someone who's been canceled. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but
yeah,
Brand New's been mega canceled because there's just literal pictures of that guy out to dinner with 16-year-old girls because he was
Jesus.
Just, yeah, he's just he was the king of the hey, I just want to hang out and get to know your daughter. Let's go have dinner together and hang out. It's just a mentor thing, and then would also be bounding these young ladies. And also they're on tour right now, so it's stirring back up because people are hey, why are we letting this guy tour? He is a actual predator. But anyways, I'm just rambling. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because Max Bemis has been with a woman named Sherry Dupree for, at least 2008, 2009, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And any number of love songs written about one another, and they have 5 or 6 kids together. And he has on his knuckles her nickname tattooed and stuff. It's deep. Lore runs deep. And much like so many communities these days are what do they call them? They'll have Reddit communities where you hate watch things.
Yeah.
What is that called?
I think just hate watching.
Yeah, but no, there's a thing. It's snark.
Yeah.
Snark. Is there a snark page for this? That kind of thing, or whatever. But, anyways, they have a snark community for sure because any number of things they have the child. They do the child-led thing where I think their kids aren't getting structured education. They're just kind of oh, my kid's really into butterflies, so they're gonna learn about butterflies today. And it's okay, yeah, but can they read or write? And all kinds of stuff like that. But anyways, weird long way of saying that they announced that they are splitting, that they're breaking up, that they're going to divorce. And I don't know. It's just one of those. I don't want to be catty and trash talking, but it's almost a. Wow, watching a train wreck thing. Nothing's horrible. But it's one of those things where it's okay, where's this gonna go? Because I'm not trying to be a dick, but Max Bemis does have mental health issues. There are some allegations floating around.
Okay.
Then also there's the snark community thing, and I feel I'm just watching. I'm okay, when is something gonna? I feel the conditions are primed.
Okay, I could see that.
You
get
what
what you mean. Yeah.
I'm being TMZ-ish. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna being sleazy. But like I keep checking their stories because I'm like, when are things gonna get a little ugly?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like you don't want it to.
Does that make me a bad person?
No. I think I think everybody inherently has that. And if you say you don't, you're lying. But like celebrity drama and stuff like that, everyone's just like, oh, let me see what's going on here. Like drama that does not involve you at all. It's just like, let me check in on this.
I think
quick.
a similar thing is like right now, like Kanye West has a big snark community on Reddit where people are watching his tweets just to be like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
What old Nazi, yeah.
Yeah. Like I saw one the other day that like the headline, or not the headline, but the tag was just like, bruh, I just woke up. Like, come on. And it was that tweet where he said something to the effect of like, I used to do this hug where I'd like press my dick against a girl's leg and I would try to place my hand where my pinky would touch the top of her ass crack or something. I was like, what the fuck?
Buddy.
Yeah, buddy. Oh my God. You know? Ugh. Yeah.
I was telling you a little bit earlier, I recently read Fahrenheit 182, Mark Hoppus's new book. And just speaking about like drama and like pop punk bands and stuff like that. One of the biggest, in my opinion, one of the biggest things like that don't involve sexual assaults is Blink-182 breaking up not once but twice.
Oh, they broke up again?
Yeah, they broke up twice.
Like recently?
No.
Or back in the day? Back in the day.
They broke up
Okay, yeah.
after the self-titled album, and then they got back together, and then they broke up again.
Right, because they got together for that Neighborhoods album or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then Matt Skiba joined after that.
Right. Mr. Alkaline Trio himself.
Yes, but it's always because Tom DeLonge would leave and then started Angels and Airwaves or whatever.
Yeah.
So I read Mark Hoppus' book because I was like, I can't wait to hear what actually happened.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
The way he talks about it in his book was just like, and then he stopped talking to me, and then his manager told me he wasn't in the band anymore.
Yeah.
And then Travis Barker gets into a plane crash, and we just put all the petty shit aside, and we were just best friends again. It's like,
That's
okay.
sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then it happens again where Tom just stops talking to them.
Yeah.
And then Mark Hoppus almost dies of cancer. He goes, and then we just put the petty shit aside, and he became my best friend again. I'm like,
yeah.
I would like to know what his reasonings are for leaving Blink-182, please.
So recently, I don't know what the situation is to talk about some drama again. There's that whole thing I think we talked about on the podcast, but we definitely talked about it in our personal life. The Watcher drama, post BuzzFeed Unsolved, like them trying to launch their own streaming service and basically being like, hey, all this content we've been put on YouTube for free, you're gonna have to pay for it now. And people were like, well, hey, there's nothing wrong with you launching a streamer necessarily, but for you to suddenly paywall all the content you've been putting out for free, up to this point for over 10 years is crazy. Especially when you guys are the ones that have a boner for like making TV quality content on YouTube. You know, we used to watch BuzzFeed Unsolved when like most of the video was text on a screen. Like you don't need to put all the, And now there's a little drama because apparently they're like laying off some workers, but they're gonna like rehire them as like contract workers so they can try to like save money and stuff. And again, it's whatever. It's just one of those things where like they were very vocal about like BuzzFeed doing that and how they didn't like that, but now they're doing it now that they're Watcher. You get what I'm saying? Whatever. But drama aside, there's still some relationship with Watcher and BuzzFeed Unsolved, where like every now and again BuzzFeed Unsolved, the YouTube channel, will like host like it'll host a video like top 10 evidence of ghost, and it'll be like it'll be Watcher and And similarly, like they'll talk about BuzzFeed Unsolved and like use the logo like in like if they talk about it on a podcast, they'll be like behind the set, BuzzFeed Unsolved drama. So they seem to have still like a working relationship as far as like whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm bringing all this up is just because I've been getting back into like comfort watching BuzzFeed Unsolved, just kind of like. But the best part about it is that it's got this like live TV quality because 24/7 every hour of the day. The BuzzFeed network is just live streaming all 7 seasons of the True Crime one and all like 6 seasons of like the Supernatural one. And you can just drop in and just put it on, and I'll just,
hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At any given time, between 100 and 300 people are watching each one of them or whatever. And it's just, again, like I said, they're just looped and played on shuffle, I think. I don't think they're even in chronological order.
I've been doing a lot lately with Disney Plus to do it with The Simpsons, and it's great.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. But one of the mysteries that keeps coming up that I just fucking love, and it's in the same vein, it's celebrity gossip, is the what is it, Robert Wagner or whatever, and Natalie Wood and Christopher Walken. Is that what it is? Is Robert Wagner?
I believe so.
Heart to Heart. He was on Heart to Heart. Is that his name? Let me just type Robert Wagner. Yeah, he was the actor. Yeah. And he's still alive. Holy shit. He was on 2.5 Men and NCIS. I didn't know that either. But anyways, she like supposedly also the thing that's even crazier is that her mom went to a freaking fortune teller one time, and the fortune teller told her that her daughter Natalie Wood was going to die by drowning. So like that had already instilled a fear of water in her. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then she ended up whatever. But so the whole thing is like there's like 3 like reports of what happened that night on the boat that Natalie Wood drowned. Right? Obviously nobody's ever been charged. Christopher Walken. The only thing Christopher Walken's ever said about it is just like the people who are unsatisfied with like the story that's out there, like they're never gonna be satisfied.
Okay.
Sure. But
it'd be so cool if Christopher Walken just on his deathbed to be like, I killed her.
Well, I think what happened was that Robert Wagner drunkenly killed her because basically what happened was they were together when she was like 18 to like 20 or something like that. Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood, they were married, and then they divorced. She went off, married someone else, and like lived her life for a little bit. And then they got back together, got remarried. But then she was starring in some movie or show with Christopher Walken, mm-hmm. and Robert Wagner became very concerned that like an on-screen romance was kind of budding. And so yeah, they ended up all hanging out in the boat and drinking and having a good time. But like in one of the reports, there's a point where supposedly Robert Wagner at one point, like, someone heard him yell, "Jesus Christ, what are you trying to do? Fuck my wife?" to Christopher Walken. Which is just like, that's like a bone-chilling thing to hear. Like, if you just hear a grown, drunk man saying that to another grown, drunk man, like, that's just, you know someone's getting murdered on a boat tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, Jesus Christ, what are you trying to do? Fuck my wife is... Like, if someone said it to me, I'd be like, dude, this guy's about to fucking murder me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get murdered, right?
But if I heard someone else say that to somebody else, I'd be like, I gotta get over there right now and see what's happening.
And so that's it. Like, there's no, that story ends with, oh, yeah, she accidentally drowned or whatever, blah, 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 you know. But Robert Wagner killed that woman on that boat.
Okay, yeah.
Out of jealousy, right?
I believe it, yeah.
Jesus Christ, what are you trying to do? Fuck my wife? That's crazy. Did I talk on the podcast about the fucking... There's like the Chapatowick incident or whatever?
I believe so.
Because I watched Blowout, and Blowout fucking rocks. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
What is it? It's like, I think John Lithgow plays the fucking murderer. John Travolta, like, it's so crazy to me that like he was like his career was like dying when Pulp Fiction happened, because he puts like these great performance in Blowout. Brian De Palma, this great film. He also did Carrie, I believe.
That was on my list for... I don't know if you remember me being like, I got a bunch of Halloween movies I'm going to watch for not the podcast. Blowout was on that list, and I just never got around to it.
That's great. But the whole thing deals with, like, basically John Travolta witnessing a politician doing something sort of super embarrassing and, like, a cover-up happens, right? And what I uncovered finding that out is that, like, there's the fucking, one of the Kennedys. I can't remember which one right now or whatever, but... just straight up actually genuinely like drunk drove and killed a lady in his car the same way that it happens in Blowout, where like she drowned in a lake because he crashed it into a lake or whatever, and then just, you know, got away with it because he's a Kennedy. And like it was, but it did negatively affect him in terms of like a lot of people prior to that wanted him to run for president. He kind of teased that he was going to a couple of times, but every time he did, like 60 minutes or whatever, would just sit him down and like for an hour straight just be like, you killed a lady with your car when you were drunk, and it would just kill his like approval rating. And so at the time I had made the joke, I think, talking to you about how like I think in like, you know, the election where Nixon won, like he was potentially supposed to be the Democratic like nominee, and I was just, you know, or maybe but I was just thinking like how like, you know, the butterfly effect, like certain things end up happening. Like it's just so weird to think that like, you know, a big reason why someone like Richard Nixon became, you know, president, for example, or whatever, is because he didn't necessarily have to go up against, you know, someone who was the favorite, a Kennedy, because a Kennedy couldn't go because in 1963 he drowned a lady accidentally because he drunk drove from a party one time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just weird how you can trace things back like that. Anyways, Back to the Future.
Real quick side note about Christopher Walken.
Yeah, go ahead.
Fun thing I heard the other day. You know, he's in Severance.
Walken.
The Apple Plus TV show. Mm-hmm. Apparently, to get screeners to him so he can watch them, they have to put them on DVDs because he just has a DVD player, and he's like, I'm not getting anything else.
Nice, that's good. I respect it.
So the only copies of that show that exists on a DVD are just owned by Christopher Walken.
He's got moves too.
Yeah.
He's like a classically trained dancer.
Yeah, I buy that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Anyway, Back to the Future.
I hope you're recording.
Steven Spielberg is involved somehow.
Yeah.
Produced by Amblin Entertainment. That's his company.
We didn't watch Poltergeist for the podcast. Not a big fan of Poltergeist.
Mm-hmm.
So Back to the Future. I love. You can look this up. There's like a. Who is the guy who was originally Marty McFly?
Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, or Eric Stoltz. So there was like a week or two or whatever where they were shooting with Eric Stoltz.
3, I think, which is a long time.
Yeah, and at the time, you can look this up. Michael J. Fox was down the street making Teen Wolf or whatever, and he was being interviewed or whatever. He's like, I'm stuck here making this dumb werewolf movie. When down the street, Steven Spielberg's making a fucking probably a classic, you know?
That's so fun.
And then, as fate would have it.
I think what ended up happening, like the way they got him for this, is he was doing a sitcom at the same time too that he was really big on. Mm-hmm. And I should have looked this up, but from what I remember, he would film that sitcom.
Oh yeah, and then he was doing Back to the Future at night,
and then he would sleep for 4 hours in a car on the way to Back to the Future, and then go back to the show,
right.
and that's fucking crazy.
It is.
Budget. $19 million. Box office, Chris?
This made $80 million.
$388 million.
Holy fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm sure it's been re-released, and that's probably factored in here, but fucking still, dude. Oh, my God.
Wow. Wonderful picture. This has got to be one of the movies of all time.
I know. I can't. There's not a lot new that we can say about Back to the Future because it's a perfect movie.
Yeah, it's up there with like Wizard of Oz. Like, this is just like when you think of a movie, you're thinking of Back to the Future.
Yeah, something I was so struck by watching it yesterday. It's when he leaves Doc's place at first and Power of Love starts playing.
I love this film.
Everything in it is obviously 80s. But none of it feels like an 80s movie to me.
Right.
It just feels like
a movie,
a classic. Like it just busts out of being an 80s movie somehow. Yeah. And I just love it. I just love it.
Would you say that this is okay to talk about the time travel in this film? Does this film for you fall into the category of there is free will or there's determinism? Things are set in stone.
There's free will.
There's free will?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because when stuff happens, stuff changes. You know?
Okay.
He changes his parents at the end because he had free will to change stuff.
Right.
And
okay, I hear you. Because I was just thinking, like, there's another way to read into it where it's like, people are always like, why do Marty and Doc know each other? And it's like, well, in a sense, because they've always known each other. They've known each other since 1955.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
It's the,
like, of course they're friends in the 80s because they know each other from the 50s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the, what's it called? The bootstrap paradox.
Yeah.
Where if, like, I don't know why it's called bootstrap, but the theory is, like, if you roll a ball into a time machine, and then it goes in that time machine, and the time machine goes back a minute and lands in front of itself.
Yeah.
And then opens up, and the ball comes out of that, and then goes in the time machine, and it's just that loop over and over again.
Yeah.
Where did it start? You know, because the time machine's involved in both.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is that thing of like, so I guess it would involve the crossing of timelines in a sense, right? Mm-hmm. So it becomes like a Rick and Morty thing in a sense where it's like, which I guess it would because there's multiple Martys at certain points and stuff. So
yeah.
Anyways, but I don't know. Just thinking out loud. One of the things that recently crossed my desk is this reading of the ending that I'd never heard, where someone was basically saying it's kind of a sad ending because Marty doesn't know these people that are his family.
Yeah,
and,
I was kind of thinking
his parents don't know him. They're different people.
Yeah.
And also there's an underlying gross, like, the American dream is to make more money, and being a consumer and capitalism will make you happy because you'll have a nice truck.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, while that is true, I also think there's enough of like, oh, his dad has self-confidence, like the character growth has happened, so it is still a nice ending.
His brothers are wearing a suit.
Exactly. Watching it, I went in with that mindset, and I was like, man, I still can't feel bad about this because they have genuinely become happier because of like personality things they've worked through. Except the mom, who just is happier because her husband isn't.
Putz.
Yeah. So she gets a little dicked, in my
guess,
opinion, in terms of like, you're just not an alcoholic because your husband isn't a loser. She could have had a little more, but
I guess. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was thinking of that when I watched it this recent time. I was just like, yeah, just to be in that house that's not your home anymore. That's
Right.
strange.
Yeah.
And then to see all these people.
Any
like,
memory you had of like that time your brother farted at dinner?
Yeah, like all
Didn't
that's
happen.
gone. And like,
The time your sister just, fell and skinned her knee didn't happen.
when, let's say this happened to you, Chris, you got Back to the Future.
Yeah.
You come back, family's different for the better, yada yada. You're fine with that. When do you tell your parents that happened?
Probably never, because they won't believe me, unless Doc's there to show them the DeLorean.
Yeah.
But he took off. He's in the future. He's gone
Yeah, but he comes back.
for a second.
You know what you do? You put a letter in Western Union like he does in the other one and give it to him, and he finds it in the future.
I do love that, and I am a fan of the trilogy. I know some people say like, oh, the third one's not so great, but like I love the trilogy. I don't think the next two are as good as the first one.
Oh, absolutely.
But I do have love for the entire thing. Like, and I feel like they do. Honestly, I think it's a really strong trilogy. I love the idea of like I think it's one of the earliest like. Is the second one kind of flirting with meta in a sense? Like, it's the earliest like the idea that they go back to 1985 and like they're basically redoing the movie for a portion.
Yes,
but from the perspective, it reminds me. Yeah, I love the second one, and the third one. I think the third one just has such a nice. I don't know. It's just a very nice. You get to see Doc be a little happy. The whole letter thing, like I love when like at the end of the second one he's just standing there and the guy like runs up in the rain. He's like, at the post office, there's been this letter sitting here since 1863, and we never knew if it just said to be standing at these crossroads at midnight on December 18th of 1985, and now I'm here and you're here and here it is. It's so crazy. It's good. It's good.
The hypest I think I've ever been watching a movie.
Yeah, is the ending of Back to the Future.
In Back to the Future 2, when it shows you the ending of Back to the Future 1.
Yeah.
Where Doc sends him back and he goes, yes! And he's like cheering in the street. And then the music kicks back up and Marty comes running around the corner and he goes, Marty, I just sent you Back to the Future. He goes, yeah, Doc, but I just got back from the future. It's so sick.
Yeah. And but whatever. To talk about this film specifically.
Yes. Why does Hill Valley have Libya terrorists in it?
That's pretty dark, honestly. In the beginning, he's like, I ripped them off, Marty. I didn't build them a bomb. I sent him a fucking drawer of spoons in it.
Just full of a bunch of spare pinball machine parts. Watching it, every time I watch it, I'm like, all right, a huge part of this movie is that Doc Brown gets shot to death by terrorists.
Yeah, a huge part.
Yeah.
But so many iconic things. I mean, from the rip, you get the power of love. But I love the what was it? The fucking David Hoffmeyer. What the fuck is the
Roy Orbison machine?
Yeah, the Roy Orbison machine. What is the thing? It's a
Rube Goldberg.
Rube Goldberg, right? So they have him like feeding the dog, but they haven't been there in a while.
So there's a bunch of food and the burnt toast and.
Doc, you telling me all these clocks are 18 minutes later? He's like, yes. Damn, I'm late for school. What does it say? He's like, no McFly ever amounted to anything in the history of Hill Valley.
And their noses touch.
Yeah.
In Doc's house at the beginning, though, with all those clocks, one of the clocks has a little guy hanging off the arm like he does later in the movie.
Yeah. Christopher Lloyd, the role of a lifetime.
Chef's
This
kiss.
is amazing.
He's so good.
Yeah.
There's
that word again. Heavy. The future. Is there something wrong with the Earth's gravitational pull?
It's got to be because he's too good. He's so good in this movie that he couldn't be cast in anything else without being Doc Brown in that movie. That's probably why he isn't in everything after this. But God, he's so fucking good in this.
He's incredible in this. Yeah.
He. Did you ever see? I know the answer is going to be no, but I can't even think of what it's called. That Seth MacFarlane Western movie.
Yeah, I love that little cameo they have where they just kind of like. Shh.
Yeah,
they close the barn or whatever.
It's really silly, but it's really good. Arguably dumb, but I do like it.
Yeah. I've got a soft spot for A Million Ways to Die in the West. I do.
I've never actually seen it, but I'd like to. I don't mind the works of Seth MacFarlane.
No.
I can't remember. I'm kind of talking out of my ass. I remember just reading a bunch of trivia for Back to the Future not too long ago. I think it's like after the third movie.
Yeah.
Because they hide the time machine in like the old mines of Hill Valley when they get back there or whatever. And then in Back to the Future 2, Biff takes the car back to 1955 as well. And so I think by the end of it, I think the thing I read says in November 1955 on that day, there's a point in time where there are 4 DeLoreans in that town.
Have you ever seen Army of Darkness?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Have you ever seen the alternate ending where he sleeps too long?
Yes, yeah. My dad was so excited to show me that as a kid. I'm sure I've said this multiple times on this podcast, but we have a signed copy of Army of Darkness because my dad ran into him at a convention he was working at. It was so fun.
I think the other one's a better ending for me personally, where he's at the S-Mart and he's talking.
Yes, of course, yeah.
But anyways, so back to this film. Libyan terrorists. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
And just the car coming and like just the flames in between their feet is so good. And then I love that it leaves the fire, but when it comes back, it's cold for some reason. Yeah. Why? Like it's so like I love the science. It's just science fiction. There's no attempt to really make this like believably science. It's just fucking fun movie science. Yeah. And oh god, I'm looking at it right now. Doc Brown is just so he's my favorite. He's the best character in this movie, I think.
Oh, absolutely. He's got so many moments. I mean, like when you meet him later and he's got that whole thing in his head and he's like, don't tell me. You're here to sell me on blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, Doc, I'm from the year 1985. You built a time machine. He's like, do you know what this means? It means this thing doesn't work at all.
I love it. He's
so good.
And then it took me, I didn't realize it until like a little bit later in that scene when they're in the garage. Yeah. He's not wearing a jacket. He's wearing a robe over his dress shirt and tie. Yeah. Also, I love, like, right after that where they go, because he's like, oh, Marty, you can't leave. You can't interfere with anything or there could be great consequences. You haven't talked to anyone besides me, right? He goes, I might have talked to my parents. And then he's like,
let me see that picture of your brother and sister again.
And I love when they go to the school next. I mean, we'll jump back to the previous scene because I have something else to talk about too. When they go to the school, he's trying to like hook his dad up with his mom and blah blah blah, and then they leave, and like everybody's in class, and him and Doc are walking through the halls talking to each other. I'm like, I like that in 1955, a kid that doesn't go here and an old man can just walk around this school and have a conversation.
But milk, chocolate. He's a peeping Tom.
How like structurally perfect this movie is, and how
like every like I would say like 6 minutes before you could ever get to like, okay, where are we going? You're doing something else. Something's happening.
Yes, and I love that everything anyone's saying
is important and Yeah. Save the clock tower.
That's exactly what it's going to bring up. Yeah. The lady tells him to save the clock tower so that he can hold on to it. But
she also writes her number on the thing so he still has the flyer in 1985 so he can show Doc.
But she's staying at her grandmother's tonight, so that's why she has to write the phone number, because he would already have his girlfriend's phone number. Right. So he puts it in his pocket, and then he has to go, Doc, look, I got a girl back home. And then he says the thing about the lightning, and there's no way we could know when lightning would strike. And he goes, oh, like, no, it's right. Because everybody loves the clock tower. And fucking, it's so good.
It's good. And also, I actually got chills when we were talking about it.
I love
tingle up my spine.
Maybe one of my favorite jokes. Maybe my favorite joke in this is when Doc builds the model.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't have enough time to build a
I love Marty's like, it's good. But I love when he's showing that to him, and he's like, I'll connect this and the gigawatts, and he's like saying all the science stuff. He goes, and then with the Titan, he runs over to the DeLorean, he goes, I've outfitted it with this big pole and hook.
Yeah, it's really good. I also love when he's like, 1.21 gigawatts. He's like, uranium. Or he's like, I'm sure, in 1985, you can go to any corner store and get the uranium. 1955, it's a little hard to come by,
Yeah. Oh, god damn.
Yeah, it's very good. But anyway, so the Libyan terrorist, he gets sent back to 1955, shows up in the barn.
Love it, knocks down one of the pines, becomes single pine, or a lone pine later.
Yeah, lone pine. The kid thinks he's a spaceman from Mars.
I love it. He's like, he's already morphed into human form.
Yeah. He goes into town. I love Mayor Goldie.
Mayor Goldie Wilson. He's like, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. He's like, one day I'm gonna be mayor. Yeah.
I know. I'm
gonna clean up this town.
And start with the floor. He hands him the broom. It's great.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. Give me a Pepsi. Give me a tab. He's like, oh, you're not gonna give me a tab. He's like, give me a Pepsi free. He's like, nothing's free here, Bell. You gotta pay for it. What's with the life preserver? You in the Navy or something?
I think it's weird when he says, give me something about sugar with it, and the guy grabs underneath the counter and has an already full cup of coffee and puts it down.
That's funny.
I mean, I wasn't around in the 50s. Maybe that's how they did it. The scene with him and his dad, the first time he runs into his dad, is so good. In the diner where they're both sitting there,
McFly,
and they both rub their like head the exact same way or whatever, and just doesn't need to be said, but I think Michael J. Fox, his just face is perfect anytime any of this is happening. Like him just looking at his dad that entire time is just perfect, because it's like I would have thought about it. It's like, oh, that's exactly how you would be looking at your dad if you were sent back to the 50s and met your dad.
I'm also a very big Crispin Glover fan. I'm a stan even. Love him. Oh, well, Biff, I just thought that perhaps, I would, it's great.
I love when he falls out of the tree and he pushes him out of his way. I love when the dad hits Marty with the car and goes, Angela, another one of these kids. Because a bunch of kids are apparently watching her get shit so fucked.
Yeah, it's super fucked. Hello, McFly. Is anyone there? Why don't you make like a tree? Get out of here.
Get the heck out of here.
Yeah, classic. But anyways, basically, I mean, everybody knows he fucks up his parents' meeting, and now his mom is beyond infatuated with him. And again, I love this because it's like she doesn't know, but it's the maternal link, right? When they finally kiss, she's like, it's total spell's broken. She realizes, like, I mean, she doesn't realize because she doesn't know, but she's like, it's like kissing my brother or something. But until that point, like, she doesn't understand why she has this strong, deep biological pull towards this person. It's because it's a mother's love.
Or it could also be Michael J. Fox is just so Marty McFly's so fucking cool, man.
Great
How
joke.
could you not fall for him?
Great joke where he's like, "Oh, Mom, I had this crazy dream," but he hears his mother's voice, so he just assumes, Calvin Klein. That's your name, isn't it? It's on like everywhere. Or like when they have dinner and he's like, "I have 2 televisions." They're like, "What? Nobody has 2 televisions?" Or he's like, "Oh, there's a classic. I've seen this one. This is the one where bubbling." And they're like, it's brand new.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it on a rerun. What's a rerun?
Yeah.
You'll find out someday. Yeah. I love when they're they make the joke about him being in his underwear or whatever.
Yeah.
But I love when the mom starts coming. She goes, "Quick, put your pants back on," because that means she took his pants off.
But yeah, I would say my 2 negatives for this film, only 2. One is the way that they disappear in the photo is weird. Like, limb by limb, why wouldn't you just like slowly have them fade out entirely?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's just weird. It's just weird.
I think, the disappearing photo is just kind of hokey.
Yeah.
But thinking about it, it's like, that's how he knows he's running out of time.
Absolutely. Like, I'm just saying, like, why is it like, oh my God, his left arm's gone, so I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, why not just like have them be fading out, like one at a time, right? Like the brother's getting more and more opaque, and he's gone, and it's like, oh, the sister's fading more and more, and now she's gone.
But when he looks at it, it's just his brother's legs. It's so silly.
That's weird. That's all I'm trying to say. It's just a small thing. And then the other thing is like, I don't like the overdub voice that they have for him doing Johnny Be Good.
I don't think he needs to do Johnny Be Good at all.
No,
it's so strange.
It is.
Marvin Berry.
You know that new sound you've been looking for? Well, listen to this.
I love Doc watching their video that he shot in the 80s. He goes, "Look at that. That's me.
Yeah.
I'm an old man."
What did I just say? He rewinds it, whatever. I love that he tapes the little paper back together to, and he wears the bulletproof vest.
So good.
I also love when the cop shows up. He's like, "You got a permit for all this?" He's like, "Sure I do." And he's like reaching in his wallet. Great. Also, in the beginning, when you're in nasty Hill Valley, in the background, the marquee, the films on the marquee, one of them says "Orgy American Style."
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah. So, but anyways, he convinces his dad to ask his mom out by, Darth Vader came to me last night from the planet Vulcan and told me that if I didn't ask Lorraine to the dance, he'd melt my brain,
Also, I love that he plays the Van Halen thing for him. I think it's in the IMDb trivia. It says Edward Van Halen.
Yeah.
Because they tried to get a Van Halen song, but they couldn't.
Nice.
But Eddie Van Halen was like, "I'll write something for you." So by law, it had to say Edward Van Halen instead of just Van Halen.
Have you ever seen Little Nicky?
Oh, forever ago.
I like Little Nicky. There's a scene though where like there's 2 metalheads in the movie, and they're like playing records backwards to be like, check it out. They're talking about the devil and stuff, and Adam Sandler is literally the son of the devil. He's like, check this out. And he puts a Kansas record on the fucking. He turns it around. And he's like, I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocent stuff. And after all that happens, the 2 metalheads are like, whoa, Kansas kicks ass. And another one of my favorite jokes from that film, I would love to do it for the podcast sometime, is there's that little talking dog that's like helping him on Earth or whatever, and he has like a roommate. I think the roommate is Grandma's Boy guy.
Nick Swartzen?
No, the actual Grandma's Boy.
I don't think I've ever seen it, so
whatever. So the dog is talking to little Nicky about like harnessing his devil powers, and you know he's like, turn water into wine, whatever. He's like, you see that can of Coke right there? He's like, you could turn that into fucking donkey piss, whatever it is, right? And he's like thinking really hard, and it's shaking, and all kinds of shit. And then the roommate comes in, takes a sip of it, and he's like, this Coke tastes like Pepsi. And then he like leaves or whatever, and the dog's like, you turned a Coke into a Pepsi. And I think about that all the time. It's very fun. It's great. It's good. Anyways, back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Him having to assault his mom is strange, but
yeah, I know when he's sitting there, he's like, you ever, you know, you have to do something, and it comes time to do it, and you don't know if you can act the way that you're supposed to act. And you know, yeah. Biff gets laid out by Mr. Great Triumphant Moment. There's the whole thing where like she's like smoking and drinking. He's like, you smoke, you drink. He's like, why? She's like, why are you being such a square?
Yeah, you sound like my mother.
Yeah.
Also strange. I'm looking at it right now. When he leaves the dance, he goes, "Oh, I had a feeling about you too." And they're like, "Oh, stop, Marty, whatever." And he goes, "I'm gonna get out of here." His mom says, "Will we ever see you again?" What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that is pretty great.
He just said, "I'm leaving the dance."
But all those things aside, this is an A+. This is dynamite.
I'd give this movie an S. I'd put it in the S tier.
Wow.
My one, I wouldn't even say it's a complaint. It's a pet peeve of mine. At the end, with the lightning striking the clock tower, too much stuff goes wrong.
I know.
And those
like
couple seconds,
he's like, bah!
And he connects up to Marty. He's like, "Oh, the car won't start," and then it's going, and it like unplugs again. He's like, "What?" Like it just happens for 9 minutes straight. Also, I laughed watching it last night when Marty shows up there. He leaves the dance, then shows up to see Doc, and Doc's like mad because he's late.
Yeah.
Marty's changed. He took the time to put his 80s outfit on.
Yeah, I love when in the beginning when Biff shows up to like complain about the car. Is your car insurance going to pay for this? He's like, plus McFly, I spilled beer on my. Who's going to pay for my drag? He's drinking a beer while he's driving around.
I saw this. I think it was like on TikTok or something like that. But it was like it was a girl, and she goes, "Guy's drinking out of a bottle for some reason," and she's like this with her like jaw out.
Yeah.
Like just looking for it. Like I commented, he's like, "Gotta keep your eyes on the road."
It's good. Yeah, it's really funny. Two things. I love also a little fun fact that the actress who plays the mom and the actor who plays the dad are younger than Michael J. Fox because it was easier to age than it was to de-age, right? But also, I love when they're like watching TV and Crispin Glover's just like, that like weird laugh he does. It's very interesting. Apparently, the Glovers are very eccentric and odd folk.
Yeah,
like the dad is especially eccentric. Also, that
he was in that James Bond movie. We watched. There's that thing about him being afraid to put the old man makeup on because he thought if he was caught like that on camera, he'd be old forever. And Robert Zemeckis had to tell him that the spirits know it's make believe or something like that.
That's so strange. He also does that dance in Friday the 13th Part 4.
He sure does.
The dead fuck dance.
Ted, where's the corkscrew, Ted?
Why don't you put that in your little computer? Anyways, interesting guy. The only other thing I've really seen him in is in Charlie's Angels when he's like a super weird guy who keeps grabbing strands of hairs.
Yeah.
You know, so... All right, well, what are we watching next week? Because Donnie wants to be a part of it, I believe.
I'd like to watch in
Heat.
Memory of the late great Val Kilmer. I'd like to watch Heat.
Dude, rest in peace, Val Kilmer. I'd love to pick something like Tombstone, iconic role. I love that film. We've done Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's one of my favorite roles of his for sure. Mm-hmm. Like I love when he's like, "Where'd you put the gun?" He's like, "Throw it in the river." He's like, "What happens when they drag the river?" They find that one of a kind gun that my mom bought me for. Yeah, it's great.
Look up the word idiot in the dictionary. You'll find a picture of me. No, the definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are.
Yeah, it's great. But what I'm going to pick is Batman Forever.
Ooh, love that. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Was it just that one film?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'll let you in on why. The reason why was because I wanted to do Batman Begins. And perhaps we could kick off a summer of Batman. We don't have to do it chronologically. We can just pick some Batman shits. Like Mask of the Phantasm is another one. But I really want to watch Batman Begins because Christian Bale got that body. I want that body.
Got that body yaddy, yeah.
He's got that body yaddy 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 yaddy.
It's fucking crazy.
And on Mac mode, I was like, I want to see a hard body. I need some hard body inspo right now. But no, in honor of Val Kilmer, we'll make it Batman Forever. I'll do Batman Begins another time. I was also thinking a lot about Interstellar. Interstellar is probably one of my favorite Chris Nolan films. The more I think about it,
that's one of those movies that I really liked it.
So long.
It's so goddamn long. Yeah.
I've just been watching a lot of like Instagram shorts of like not Instagram shorts, YouTube Reels or not YouTube Reels, YouTube Shorts. I'm a dumb guy. Of like astrophysicists. Just,
yeah.
Like, this explaining stuff, and I'm like, gosh, if only I was smart like them, you know.
Fuck, what's his name?
Yeah, no, but I've just been watching like people like Brian Cox. He's a physicist.
I know
just
Brian
like
Cox.
just like explaining like the idea that like we'll never travel at the speed of light because it's like kind of it's a bit misleading to call it the speed of light. Light travels at that speed because it doesn't have any mass. So what it really should be called is the speed of massless things. As long as you have mass, you will never travel that fast.
Oh.
And I was like, damn.
Yeah, Brian
okay.
Cox is really like, I mean, he might be in the science community. He might be a
dolt
or a poser or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Same thing with Neil deGrasse Tyson, where like again, like I get that he has a bit of an ego and people don't like this or that, but like, and as far as I know, he's probably the dumbest scientist ever. I don't know, but I like watching Neil and Brian Cox talk. I do. Continue though.
I've never understood time being relative.
Sure.
Like it just, I could never actually wrap my mind around it until I heard him explain it. And I was just like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense, not perfect
Yeah.
sense. He like, it's a visual demonstration, so I can't say, I won't bore you by saying it into a microphone. But yeah, he's great. He's good at what he does.
Yeah, I mean, really quick, I want to, you're just going to have to cut this out, I suppose. Or maybe I'll hold off until after. I'll hold off till after.
Yeah, hold off till after.
I'll hold off till after. But anyway, so yeah, next week, tune in for Heat and Batman Forever. What a killer episode that's going to be.
What a Val Kilmer
Especially if
episode.
Donnie shows up. What a Val Kilmer episode that's going to be.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Heck yeah.
Well, that's that, Mattress Man, because I gotta go horsey mode.
If you need more soup, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or go to our website, eatingsoupalone.com. And until next time,